All right. If you're not meal prepping, you are missing out. And I know it can seem daunting to meal prep. It seems like a lot of work. You don't know where to start. And you just kind of like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to go day by day. But that is the recipe for disaster, pun intended. So today I'm going to talk about A, the importance of food prep, and B, how to get started with it. So get ready for episode 119. Let's go.
I've always been that skinny guy.
Why can't I gain muscle mass?
What do I do in the gym?
They said I'd always be skinny.
This is your complete source for how to gain lean muscle and break out of your skinny body. From nutrition to getting the most out of your workouts and everything in between. We know just how frustrating gaining muscle mass can be, but don't worry, we've got you covered. You're listening to the Bones to Bulk podcast. Hey, welcome to today's episode. My name is Brian Parody. I will be your host today. And before we get started, I know we're talking about meal prep and all that today. And so to get you started, head on over to bonestobulk.com. You'll see a little get started button right there on the homepage. And what that is it's going to give you 1 week worth of meal plans. That's right. It's all laid out for you. It includes recipes. Like, go grab that. All you have to do is put in your email. It'll be delivered to your inbox. It can't get any easier, right? I just launched that. So again, bonestobulk.com, grab your free 1 week's worth of meal planning, absolutely free. All right, let's jump into today's episode. So meal planning, maybe it seems daunting, maybe it seems overwhelming, you're not sure where to start, or maybe you tried and it went well for maybe a week and then you fell off the bandwagon and you're like, screw it, it's just not for me. Well, when it comes to food prep, first off, it is essential that you food prep if you're really serious about this. And the reason I say that is because if you work, if you have kids, if you have any extra activities and you work out, you know how freaking busy life is. So that's why it's so key to meal prep, because when we're short on time, what do we end up doing usually? We end up going through a drive-through to get food or swinging by the store and picking up something, making something last minute that's quick and easy rather than healthy. And it just kind of goes by the wayside because we're hungry and so we need food, and so we just grab what's convenient. And by doing that, we really do ourselves a disservice, because if we're trying to gain muscle, if we're trying to get in shape, nutrition's where it's at. Like, I struggled for over a year with just weightlifting, never put on any weight, never gained any muscle. You know why? Because my nutrition sucked really bad. So you've got to mesh those two together, the nutrition side and the strength training side. Now, what are some good ways to get going with food prep and meal prep and all that? Well, for starters, have a plan. If you don't have a plan, then you're going to basically just be stuck, because you're not going to know what to do. You're going to go in the store, you're going to scratch your head, you're going to go out with your usual stuff, and then guess what? You're not set up for meal prep. So a couple key things when you're starting. A, plan it out. Know what you're cooking for your dinners, know what you're making for lunches, know what you're making for your breakfast. Personally, like, consistency is very helpful. Outside of dinners, my meals are pretty much the same week to week. So for an entire week, I'll do the same thing for breakfast every morning. For an entire week, I'll do the same thing for lunches every day. That way it's easy. I can make it in bulk and I don't have to worry about doing something different each day. Dinners, I do something different. So what I'll do is I'll do a couple weeks like that where I do the same thing for breakfast, same thing for lunch, and then I'll switch it up. You know, once I start getting tired of something, I'll switch it up and do something different. So that's the way I recommend doing it. You by no means have to do it that way, but I just find it to be easier to keep it all the same for a week, at least a week at a time. Now, you want to stock up on your staples. So obviously your sources of lean protein, whether that be chicken and fish and turkey, whether it be black beans, chickpeas, you know, you name it, whatever your main source of protein is, you want to stock up on it. And you're going to cook it in bulk. So regardless of whether you're doing things like stir fries or if you're doing things like chicken and veggies and potatoes, that way your chicken is already cooked for the week. You don't have to worry about each night cooking chicken. I love those disposable tins. They're like kind of like aluminum foil, because you can make a whole meal. Maybe you're doing like red potatoes and chicken and carrots, and you can cut them all up. You can throw them all in the tin and you can cook it all in the oven at once. And then when it comes out of the oven, cover it, stick it in the fridge, and it's ready to go. Then when you're ready to eat it, all you have to do, take it out of the fridge or the freezer, whichever, throw it in the oven, heat it up, and like, how easy is that? So that's what I like to do with most of my meals. I like to cook them ahead of time, and I'll freeze them or refrigerate them depending on when in the week I'm going to be eating them. Then just pull them out, heat them up, and I'm good to go. Now, I will say this about like veggies. Veggies don't, at least for me personally, I don't like cooking veggies all at once and then a week later pulling them out and eating them when they've been sitting in the fridge all week. They just don't taste good to me. Now, if you're going to freeze them, that's fine. I find they hold their flavor a lot better. But if like I'm cooking them, usually veggies I'll cook the night of. And that's easy to do because veggies take like no time at all to make. So whatever I'm having, I'll just throw some veggies in the pot, cook them up, and it's good to go. I will cut them up ahead of time. So let me just kind of lay out exactly what I do. Maybe that'll help you get some imagery of it. So for starters, I cut up all the chicken, cut off all the fat and have it all ready to go either in the pan or in the oven, however I'm cooking it. So all that's done. Then I just start cooking it. While that's cooking, I'll cut up other stuff. I'll cut up vegetables, potatoes, I'll cook rice, I'll cook quinoa. So all that'll be going at once. And whether I'm cooking my vegetables then or I'm saving them, at least they're all cut up. I can throw them in reusable containers, throw them in the fridge. And that way they're all cut up. They're ready for me to pull out, throw in the pan, cook up on the nights that I do that with. With rice and quinoa, again, I cook it, put it in large reusable containers, throw it in the fridge. That way when I want it, all I got to do is take it out, heat it up. And then again, my meat is cooking, so I'll do the same with it. Throw it in a reusable container, throw it in the fridge, pull it out, heat it up, and I'm good to go. And that's really all there is to it. For lunch, it's kind of the same thing. Lunch is slightly different because usually I'll do, like a popular thing I like to do with lunch is I'll do chicken and I'll do pasta. And then I'll usually have something else with it, maybe some veggies or whatnot. But pasta doesn't taste that great made ahead of time. So I'll only do one day in advance for my pasta. But my chicken's done. So like when I get home from work, I'll throw a pot on the stove. I'll cook some pasta, add the chicken to it, throw it in a container. And then whatever sauce I'm using, whether I'm doing like olive oil and balsamic or I'm doing a homemade pasta sauce, throw that on the side. That way when I'm ready to eat it, all I gotta do is dump the sauce on, heat it up, I'm good to go. Breakfast, breakfast vary. Like I used to have to get up and walk out the door. So I would do a lot of smoothies for breakfast. So I'd make those, again, I don't make all my smoothies at once. I usually do those only a day before because they'll start to kind of just, I don't know, they don't taste as good. And so for things like that, just make the night before, throw it in the fridge. That way you can grab it and go in the morning. Now I get up a little earlier so that I have time to eat at home. So I do make my breakfast in the morning and then eat it before I head to the gym. So kind of, breakfast is just varying. You can do a lot of different things. You can do breakfast burritos, grab some whole wheat tortillas, scramble up some eggs, throw in some ground turkey sausage or something like that in it, some onion, tomato, some salsa, and you can throw those in the fridge and then just warm them up each morning. You can, if you're doing something like oatmeal, oatmeal takes no time at all to cook. So I hope this gives you kind of an idea of how to set things up so that you're prepared for the week. Because when you're set up, when you have all that laid out, there's not this questioning of what am I going to have for breakfast? What am I going to have for snack? What am I going to have for lunch? It's all laid out, so you're going to stay on track with it all. So focus on that. Keep that as the goal in mind. And I will say with snacks, what I like to do is I like to grab the very small, like reusable containers, and I'll measure all my snacks out ahead of time and just kind of stack up the containers in a cabinet or the pantry or whatever. That way, again, it's easy to grab and go. If I'm packing my lunch with me or if I'm home, I can just pull one out and eat it. I don't have to think about, what other snacks might there be? Maybe I can raid my kids' candy bowl or the cookie jar or because nope, this is my snack, I'm grabbing it and I'm going. So I hope this gives you some good ideas. And to start meal prepping, it's so key. And you can do it. It's easy. And it ends up saving you so much time in the long run. All right. So like I said before, head on over to bonestobulk.com, grab the free meal planning guide. It's going to give you lots of good ideas for snacks, for meals. It's a complete week's worth of eating. It includes recipes. So go check that out. It's absolutely free. bonestobulk.com. You'll see it right on the homepage. With that being said, remember, no matter what anybody's told you, what things you're going up against, you can accomplish your fitness goals. You've got this.